Man does create water. Man has created water. Man has been able to bond two hydrogen atoms to two hydrogen molecules to one oxygen and make water, albeit in small quantities, because what we are lacking is the technological advancements to be able to maintain the amount of energy that it it brings forward, and that makes it a very dangerous process. So although we have made water, it is not feasible to make it in large quantities because of the amount of energy that is released. So therefore, your God is not needed in order for water to be created. If we had a planetary body that did not have life on it and set up a structure that could make large quantities of water and didn't care about the energy release, or had some method of controlling the energy release, we would be able to make oceans because we have made small quantities of water. If you can do a little bit, you can do a lot, but there are many variables. So therefore, this question that people like to ask becomes invalid, because what you're saying, that if man can't do it, then God can't, then there must be God. But what you are missing in this whole thought process, sir, is the fact that water then, if you had a God, if the God existed, then water was created by this God by the same process of bonding two hydrogen molecules with a oxygen molecule to create water, right? I mean, atoms to create water. That this would have had to be the process to which your God did it, because those are the energy, that's the energy that was available. And energy is cannot be destroyed, nor can it be created, only transmuted from one to another. We see that the sun does go through the process of nuclear fission with hydrogen to create helium, which creates a tremendous amount of energy, and then we get our sunlight from the those explosions, because that energy that is released is incredibly difficult for man right now to be able to contain it. But you're suggesting that you're God, that so that since man haven't accomplished it yet, then it must be your God that is accomplishing this task through magic, because we don't see any instruments that your God is using. And to suggest that that is the only answer is laughable at best, because when we look at the universe in itself, the universe has went through an extremely long process of creating everything that exists through the energy that was already present. Now, if you had your deity was involved in it, then your deity could have only come from the energy that was already in existence in the universe. And whenever it coalesced into a consciousness, it had to be smart enough to recognize that it is eternal, because the energy that created it was always eternal. So therefore your God would be eternal. That is the only way I'm gonna give you your God thing, bro. Is that some type of collective consciousness came together and created your God, and then your God was smart enough to recognize that energy is always eternal, so it must be eternal. Just like you have always existed, so therefore you are always eternal, because the energy to which comprises your body, comprises your consciousness, has always been. So therefore you, sir, are eternal. Now, are you enlightened enough to understand all the mechanisms of the universe? No, you're not. Not yet. But as man has continued to build on top of scientific knowledge, on top of scientific knowledge, on top of scientific knowledge, we have went from the time frames where man only could harness the wind to sail across a body of water, to be able to create machines that propel man across the bodies of the water and without sails. We've understood how to go from wooden ships to metal ships, and understanding the science of buoyancy to be able to do that. We've figured out so many things that people 3,000 years ago had no idea of. If you brought a person from 3,000 years ago to today, they would look at this world and think that we are all gods, based on our ability to heal people, based on our ability to understand how viruses work and how inoculation works. To see an airplane, they would be astounded that we've conquered flight like birds by using big ass heavy metal machinery, because we start to understand how to get lift with the design of wings and then how to control the flight. You see, we build scientifically on everything we continue to gain, but for you, you would just want to say, God of the gaps. God did it. God did it. I guarantee you, at some point in time in man's history, if we cannot kill ourselves off, or some asteroid don't kill us off, man will discover how to do nuclear fusion safely and without all the dangers, and be able to do it in large quantities. And then we'll be able to make oceans, which would enable us to find other habitable planets and terraform them for our type of life. That is the whole process of terraforming. And that is something that if man can survive for the next 100,000 years, I guarantee we will be terraforming other planets. But until such a time, we can't. So I guess God did it. So always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.